Welcome, and thank you for joining us today. I'm Graylin Phillips with Bernie's Book Bank Associate Board and Houghton Mifflin Harcourt, the Digital First Learning Company. Before we jump into today's adventure, let me tell you how we got here today. Bernie's Book Bank and Houghton Mifflin Harcourt has joined forces yet again. As you may know, Bernie's Book Bank is a nonprofit organization that collects, curates, and distributes new and gently used books for our Chicagoland communities. We've done this for over 10 years now, distributing over 18 million books. Amazing, right? So we've partnered with HMH, who will lend their voices and creativity during their annual volunteer week to bring us Storytime with Curious George. Throughout today's adventure, you'll get a chance to see what Curious George has been up to. We'll check in with our Associate Board Co-Chair, Amanda Pichter, to give us a brief update. And last, we'll get a surprise visit from our friend at HMH, Christopher Edwards. At the end of the video, we ask that you share this video with all of your Curious George fans. In the meantime, grab your friends, family, snacks, and buckle your seatbelt for today's story time with Curious George. Let's go.
Hi, I'm Kevin Watts, and this is...
Hello, I'm Adia. And I'm Naya.
And we're going to read the Curious George book, Curious George Plays Soccer. George is a good little monkey and always very, very curious. He was at the park on this beautiful day, ready to play. But where are all George's friends? Not the fountain or the playground. Oh, everyone was at the field. George watched for a moment. His good friend Gracie was there. The children were playing a game with a ball and a big net. George wanted to play too. As soon as the ball passed near him, George ran after it. He ducked under a player's leg and grabbed the ball. Then he threw it into the net nearby. He made it in! George jumped up with excitement. But no one else was excited. George, Grace said, shaking her head, soccer has rules. This most important one that you can't touch the ball with your hands if you're not the goalie.
George watched the rest of the game from the bench. When it was over, Gracie and the coach came by. I'm Coach Sandy, the woman said. Why don't you come to soccer camp at the race center? It starts tomorrow. We'll teach you everything you need to know to play soccer. Hooray! It was lucky that George had to wait only one day. Then he could get as good as Gracie, who had scored 2 points for her team. The man with the yellow hat dropped George off at the rec center. The next morning, with his own soccer ball and a water bottle, George waved to Gracie, who was lining up with some of the older players. George was ready to play, and this time he knew to kick the ball instead of throw. But before they played the game, George's group practiced their skills. Coach Sandy called them drills. They dribbled around cones on the ground. George learned that dribbling is moving the ball with your feet. That was fun, but soon George became more interested in stacking the cone. After snack, George and his teammates practiced kicking the ball back and forth with a partner. George thought he would try to balance the ball in his nose like a seal.
Finally, Coach Candy announced, time for a game. We have 10 players in our group, so each team gets 5. One goalkeeper will defend the net. The other 4 players will pass the ball to each other and try to kick it into the net before the goalkeeper can drop it. Coach Sandy handed out red pennies to George's team. He put one on. George wanted to be a goalie so he could touch the ball with his hands. But Mia played goalie this time. George was a striker. Oh, there they are. George tried to make shots into the goal, but he wasn't very good at it. He kept kicking the ball too hard and too far. Every time this happened, the other team got to throw the ball back in. It's okay. Just try again, said the coach. Woo, what a day. Every part of George was tired. He waved goodbye to his friend Gracie. He hoped he'd get better at soccer soon. On Tuesday, it was George's turn to be a defender. His job was to keep the other team from getting the ball too close to the net. Remember, George, Coach Sandy said, keep your eye on the ball. George knew he had to keep his eye on the ball, but it wasn't long before he got distracted by the butterfly.
Every day, George learned a little more about soccer. He tried very hard to be a team player, but sometimes little monkeys forget. Like the time he forgot he was supposed to deliver the pennies to the next field and tried them all on himself instead. Or the time he gathered some friends so they could launch their balls down the playground slide when they were supposed to be heading back to the field. On the last day of the soccer camp, George was excited for the big game. Everyone was invited to play, and friends and family came to watch. George waved happily to the man with the yellow hat. George was on the blue team. He cheered for his friends and waited patiently for his turn to play. Unfortunately, George's teammates were having a hard time defending their goal. The yellow team scored 3 times. The blue team's goalie, Isaac, was ready for a break. The coach asked for a volunteer to replace him. George jumped as high as he could. The coach chose him. George took up his position in front of the net. This time, George didn't get distracted, and he didn't get bored. Instead, he played like only a monkey can, and he stopped goal after goal after goal. The final score was close. The yellow team won, 3-2. But George was the blue team's hero of the day. He had stopped 4 goals. So, what do you think of soccer now? Gracie asked George the next day at the park. George smiled and dribbled circles around her. Gracie laughed and said, "Now that's talking with your feet."
Hello, I'm Amanda Pichter, co-chair of the Associate Board of Bernie's Book Bank. Over the last 3 years, I've witnessed firsthand the impact Bernie's Book Bank has had on the Chicagoland community. Individuals, communities, and companies have come together to donate books and volunteer their time at Bernie's Book Bank's facility. During this pandemic, the importance of having books at home is even greater, as the majority of children are learning in a virtual environment. I humbly ask you to consider providing support to help Bernie's Book Bank continue their mission to significantly increase book ownership among underserved children. You can provide support by collecting and donating gently used children's books, and a $12 donation will allow Bernie's Book Bank to provide 12 books to one underserved child. Thank you in advance for your donation.
Hey everybody, my name is Chris. Today we're going to be making some really cool slime, some green Bernie's Book Bank color slime, which is going to be really fun. This is from a place called Steve Spangler Science. So you have 2 ingredients, add this one plus this one, and you make some really cool slime. We'll also be making some slime that you can make at home with some normal glue and a couple other experiments, including some sort of chemical reaction. So that should be fun too.
No.
Try picking it up with your hands, Gus.
Should I?
Yeah, try it, picking it up. Can you pick up the slime?
No.
No, it's just liquid, isn't it? It's not slime yet. So we need to do something. We need to change it to make it into slime. Okay, we're going to get our secret ingredient. We're going to put it in here. This is something called cross-linker.
Ooh, that sounds like a funny word.
Yeah, crustlink is essentially what this stuff is it is going to activate and change those molecules. So I want you to take this little pipette and squirt it in there.
Should I start mixing?
Start mixing it. You too, August.
Here, guys.
Start mixing it. Let's put a little bit more in there. Are you seeing any reactions yet?
Oh, I am.
Wow, my goodness. Look at that slime. It changed so quickly.
Yeah.
It changed so quickly, didn't it? Let's see, can you pick it up now?
With our hands?
Yeah.
With our hands?
Whoa, look.
Yes, we can.
Oh my goodness. Wow, look at that slime. Whoa. Whoa. Oh my goodness, look at that cool, gross slime. Did that come out of your nose? Oh my goodness.
Oh, wait. It's gross if it's not cooler.
So it's not liquid anymore because you can pick it up, isn't it? And is it kind of gooey and sticky?
Yes.
Yeah, it's viscous, isn't it? But I want to see if we can make our own slime. So I've got some glue, borax. You're gonna need about 1 pint of water. Take some of this borax. Take about 1 teaspoon or 1 tablespoon-ish. Just like that. We're gonna chuck it inside our water. We're gonna mix it up. All right. I'm gonna be careful not to drink it because it's gonna taste gross. Take some of our glue. Pour some of our glue into a little cup. Maybe we can add some color to it now. What do you think? Ready?
Yeah.
Add a little bit of color. See if you can mix in that color. Wow, look at that yellow. Is it slime yet?
No.
Let's add some of this crustlink to it. Our homemade borax crustlink. Ready? Put a little bit to yours too. Mix it in. See if we can change the state. See if we can make it into a goopy slime. Wow, look, did it work already? Oh my goodness. Wow, look at that. Wow, it turned so goopy already. Look how viscous that is. Blah. Whoa. Oh my goodness, look at this viscous slime.
The viscous slime,
Ah!
it's gooier than it was before.
Whoa.
Slime ball!
Whoa.
Yuck.
That was a lot of fun.
It was quite the journey. At this time, I'd like to thank Houghton Mifflin Harcourt and its amazing employees. I want to thank the amazing Bernie's Book Bank and our star, Curious George.
We'd also like to give additional thanks to Blair Miller of Apple Learn and thank our corporate and individual donors for their continued support. For more information, visit berniesbookbank.org.